Hey, super scientists! This is Mrs. Bruins today with our next science lesson. We are going to be exploring weathering today. We'll be doing part one and then have part two come next. So, your materials that you will need are your science notebook and a pencil, and press play when you are ready to go on this adventure with me today. Our learning targets for today are I can listen and follow along with today's lesson in my notebook. I can add the vocabulary words to my glossary. And I can include the correct spelling of the word, the definition and source, and an accurate illustration. So, before we get started on all of that, I'm feeling a little hungry right now. So I just wanted to take a moment to get myself a snack. And there's this really cool thing I've heard of. This people talk about it all the time, and I've never actually made it myself. I don't really cook very much. But I think I'm just gonna give it a try and just kind of see what I can come up with. I don't really have a lot of background knowledge on this thing that I'm gonna make, but I'm just gonna give it a shot. So I'm really hungry, and we'll just give it a try, right? All right, let's see what we come up with. Well, this thing that I have heard about is this thing people eat, and it's called a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So I first of all just know that it's food. So I just kind of went into my kitchen, opened up my refrigerator, opened up my cabinets, and pulled out some different materials. Because, I mean, as long as it's food and it goes together, I think I can somehow make this peanut butter jelly sandwich. So here's what I came up with. I mean, the one thing I know about a peanut butter and jelly sandwich is you need a piece of bread. And then I think because there's, peanut butter in the name, I think we need to have peanut butter. So I'm just going to put some peanut butter on the bread. I think maybe some goes on the side. Not really sure, but I think that maybe makes sense. From there, I didn't really know where to go. So I found some graham crackers, and I just thought that maybe I could just put that on there. That might be kind of yummy. And then when I was looking at my fridge, I really love chocolate, and so I saw this chocolate sauce, and I'm like, well, that might kind of go on there. I've got it, so I might as well, use it and just build what I think I'm gonna do here. Again, I've never made one of these before, but I'm just using what I can find and what I think. And I went into my refrigerator, and I don't really care for them, but my daughters really love them. Some pickles. So I'm just gonna give that a shot. Who knows? I mean, maybe it'll turn out, right? Another thing I found was some Tabasco. Yeah. I usually like this on my eggs, but maybe it'll be good on a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Yeah. So this is looking interesting. The last ingredient that I just found in my fridge was some orange juice. I thought maybe that would go well on my sandwich. So yeah, I gathered my materials, and I just didn't really know what I was doing, but I'm gonna give this a shot. What do you guys think? You with me on that? Huh? How did my sandwich turn out? I mean, I've never made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich before, and I knew a few of the ingredients, but I didn't really think it mattered, right? I don't really need to know what goes in it to make it. I can just kind of figure it out as I go, right? How did this turn out? Would you eat it? Well, this example is kind of a silly way to understand why what we're doing in science right now is so very important to our learning. Now, coming up in science, and even in science with our ecosystems unit, we had opportunities to do experiments in class and experiments for some of us at home. And at Parkview right now, we've got some science kits that we are going to be sending home at the next materials pickup day. Here's an example of one of the science kits that you'll be receiving. And in this kit, there are all these pieces of supplies, all of these ingredients to do with these experiments and these investigations. However, just like I pulled all the ingredients out of my refrigerator to try to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, if I do not know how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or which ingredients to use and which ingredients not to use, I'm not going to be very successful at making something delicious or something that I am going to enjoy eating. The same thing is going to, the same idea can be applied to our work and our science. We will be getting these kits, and there's a lot of materials in here. However, if we do not have the knowledge or the background knowledge to know what's in here and why we are using what's in here, our science experiments are going to turn out a lot like Mrs. Bruins's really disgusting peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So, we realize that a lot of the work that we're doing in science right now and in our notebooks and reading is going to be giving us the information and that foundation for our thinking and our learning when we go into those experiments and investigations. So continue to stay focused and ask questions when you don't understand something. And that's just going to help you out further down the road, and you will have way more success than I did with my sandwich. You will have way more success with your experiments. So to review, in your science notebook under your landforms section, we've really been working hard on this glossary. And you should have all of the words with illustrations included from the Soils, What is Soils reading. Then you saved 4 pages and you wrote about what is soil in a formal paragraph, and you compared those 2 different soils and then added where you thought those soils were found. Today we are going to move on to the next article in our FOSS Science Resources called Weathering. And weathering is a very important concept and piece of how landforms are created and how they are formed in various parts of the earth. So, just like we started our reading on what is soil, we're going to start our reading with weathering by getting our definitions into our notebook. That way, when we go to read the weathering pages, we know what this author wanted us to understand for weathering. So at this point in our lesson, I'm going to model again how to record the important vocabulary words, and we'll do these first 5 together, and then you are going to continue and finish this lesson on your own by doing the vocabulary words on page 8 under chemical weathering and recording these in your notebooks for today. Then when you're done, you'll submit a picture of just your glossary, and then we will use these when we come back during our next lesson to read and understand this concept of weathering. All right, so let's get started. The first word that I noticed that this author wants me to have their definition for is weathering. So I am going to continue recording that in my glossary. So when I flip to the glossary, I can find that word weathering. And this author defined the word weathering as the process by which larger rocks crack and break apart over time to form smaller rocks. And I'm not going to forget, I'm going to remember to include the source that this is from our Fast Science book before flipping back and seeing the next word. If you need to pause, now is a good time to do that, to add this word and this definition. Otherwise, we're going to go on to now physical weathering. So I see the author has bolded physical weathering. So again, I'm going to copy it, making sure I spell it correctly. Physical weathering. And I'm seeing that this is different than weathering because there is a new word in the front of it, physical weathering. So how does physical weathering, how is it different than just weathering? Well, let's see what this author thought. Slide back to the glossary. Find it alphabetically. Physical weathering is right down here on the bottom. This is the process by which rocks are broken down by breaking and banging. Oh, so physical weathering is the process by which rocks are broken down by breaking and banging. And again, this is in our Fast Science book. I am leaving room for an illustration yet. Drawing a line to show that I'm ready to move on to the next word. Pause the video if you need more time. All right. After physical weathering, I see this author has bolded the word minerals. Minerals. I'm remembering a little bit of that word when I was reading soil and flipping back to soil and knowing that the word rock from our soil reading was a solid earth material made of two or more minerals. Oh, so minerals have something to do with rock, that two or more of them make rock. Well, let's see what this author defined the word minerals as. So under M's, oh, well, this author says a mineral is an ingredient of a rock. That makes sense based on our definition of a rock. So a mineral is an ingredient, just like my ingredients to make my peanut butter and jelly sandwich. A mineral was an ingredient of a rock. From Fast Science. Remember, I'm not adding the illustrations yet. I'm leaving space for it, but I'm going to add them when I have the chance to read the text, and we will do that in the next lesson after today. All right, the next word I see that this author has bolded is the word abrasion. Abrasion. A-B-R-A-S-I-O-N. Abrasion. Flipping back. That is the first word in this author's glossary. And abrasion means the rubbing, grinding, and bumping of rocks that cause physical weathering. Oh, so back up here, physical weathering is where rocks are broken down by breaking and banging. And abrasion goes a little bit further to describe that breaking as the rubbing, grinding, and bumping of rocks that cause physical weathering. Again, from Foss Science Resource. We are going to do one more today before I send you off to add the last words from this article to your glossary. The last word that we are going to do together today is landslides. Landslides. And this author has defined landslides. Oh, there it is. Under humus. Yep. Not hummus, humus. Landslide is the sudden movement of earth materials down a slope. Oh, that's a new word. I haven't seen that word come up before. I wonder if we're going to learn what a slope is. So landslide is the sudden movement of earth materials, and we know what those are from our previous reading of soils, down a slope. And again, this is from Foss Science Resource. We have done the first 4 vocabulary words for this weathering article together. To finish up your science work for today, your independent work, you are now going to add the next page of words to your glossary. So you will be adding chemical weathering, dissolves, acid, calcite, limestone, marble, and react to your glossary. You will use the terms that this author has given us as definitions. Again, this is giving us that background knowledge and the information that we need to have before we complete the investigations and the experiments for this unit. Do not be like Mrs. Bruins. Do not try to make something when we do not have the right background knowledge or the knowledge to do so. My peanut butter and jelly sandwich did not turn out very well today. I should probably go research and maybe find some information on how to make a better peanut butter and jelly sandwich because I think if I tried to eat this, I would probably get sick. I had fun making this lesson today. I hope you had a little bit of fun watching and joining along with me. Come back and we will do part 2 next. Awesome work today, 5th graders.